NVR. It is your main man, Vaping Midman, just coming right here at you on the main Vape News Network. We are just bringing to you everything that we can, as much as we can, as fast as we can. But you know what? We're going to give it to you, and we're going to lay it out for you to play it out. So stick around right here after this commercial break. We'll get right into it. So good morning! And good morning NVR! How is everybody doing today? And
So excited to be here. Just awesome.
Anthony, your audio is on. I just checked it.
Awesome. So, yeah, Robert and I are mod twins this morning, both using our Shogun. I think they're even the same color scheme.
No, mine's black.
Oh, yours is black. Okay, yeah, mine's the well-worn copper look. Yeah, the steampunk version, if you will.
And I've actually got the very first build I've put in. I actually did the build right before the show in the Destiny. So I've started the review process on it. So, and of course I get a ding.
Man, those notifications are loud. Holy crap.
Well, I'm going to do something this time. Oh, no, wait, I really can't. Oh, no, I can. Oh, I know what I can do. Yeah, okay. I turned them down out there, so, because the only way they get picked up is when they come over that.
Gotcha.
So, but how has your week been, Anthony?
It's been good. Work's been a little bit weird. We're doing this white label program now, so Drew and I have spent most of the week designing labels for companies to carry our products, which is kind of cool. So, you know, all these companies can actually have like really, really good tasting CBD candy under their own label. So it's just a program that we offer, and it's been really successful. So the unfortunate thing is Drew and I have to design all the labels, so that takes some time to do that. But that's what I've been doing most of the week. There's been some interesting smoking, vaping stuff that's come out over the week. So, yeah, I was a little bit excited to do a show today. And I need to do a little rant about Pelosi at some point during the broadcast. So,
well, go for it.
I was fired up.
Because I want to know what this rant is about. You told me about it.
Well, it's not that I'm really mad. It's just, it's ridiculous. Okay. First off, I mean, no offense to anybody out there that's a Democrat.
I'm
Democrat? Bipartisan.
Don't even say crat. It's Democrat.
Fair, spoken as a true Republican. But, you know, I understand the need for this situation. But every time I see her, for some reason, she just makes me upset. And she never, you know, fails to say something that makes me just cringe or get upset. But the thing is, if you watch any of the videos for her recently, she has a mask that actually matches her outfit every time she's on. I'm like, is that really necessary? I don't know how many of these freaking things that she has. She never wears them. They're always just around her neck.
Right around her neck,
to like covering up her Adam's apple or whatever. But, you know, she's always wearing something that's matchy. And there was a couple of weeks ago, there was a video that came out that was showing her, and she was showing off her refrigerator. That's like a $3,000 fridge that was stocked with ice cream. She's like, oh, if it wasn't for ice cream, I don't know how I would survive, you know, blah, blah, blah. People are starving out there. And some of the crap that comes out of your mouth makes me just want to strangle you. And this whole, I'm just saying, this goofy thing about her matching her face mask to her outfits is insanity. Stop it. You just seem ridiculous. The more that we watch, different things about Biden, and that guy needs some help. I mean, as far as he needs better advice given to him, because the stuff that he says, it just drives me batty a lot of times. I mean, not saying that Trump doesn't drive me batty too with some stuff that he says. His new press secretary is probably the best move that Trump ever made. Not only is she very articulate, she's not bad to look at either. And I watched a video the other day of a press conference where she was answering questions, and she was very to the point. She answered questions very well. And I thought, okay, Trump, shut up and let this woman talk for you. Because then things don't get taken out of context. There's actually complete sentences that are made. So, I'm just a little ranty this morning, but Pelosi in those freaking masks that match her outfit, please stop. It's driving me freaking crazy. Okay? People out there that don't even have masks, and you have like a mask hung with every jacket that you own to make sure that you're matchy on there. Another piece of just funny news that made me a little, upset in Canada. Outside of a Star Wars themed restaurant, okay, on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
They had a teenage girl dressed in a stormtrooper outfit to promote May the 4th Be With You Day, okay? She was carrying around a plastic blaster. 2 different 911 calls on this, okay? Now, understand this is Canada, and they don't really have, like, guns and stuff there. But if someone is dressed in a stormtrooper outfit holding a blaster, okay, 3 cop cars converse on this woman, okay? She's scared to death. And then they pull guns out, like automatic weapon kind of guns, and tell her to get on the ground. Now, those of you that have ever worn a suit like that know that getting up and down is almost an impossibility. So she's crying. She's like, I can't even sit down in this outfit, let alone kneel down and get on, the ground.
Yeah.
And what did they think, that she was going to start firing lasers at them? Like, it's a plastic freaking gun, for crying out loud. And that just kind of shows how ridiculous we become sometimes. Like, you just cannot have any fun. If she was outside of a bank or something like that, I could maybe understand that. She's standing outside of a restaurant called, like, the Star Wars Cantina restaurant. Like, they've never driven by this. Like, they're not, police officers in this area, and they don't understand. And the worst thing is, they probably scared this teenage girl so bad.
Death.
And it was really unnecessary. It kind of reminds me of that thing where they arrested that grandmother in Disney World for dripping some CBD oil in her mouth. It's just this ridiculous amount of overreach, and it does more damage than good. Because they did this to this grandmother right in front of her grandchildren.
Yeah.
And what
we
kind
actually
of
covered
imagery?
that after
Yeah,
it
we
happened.
did. What kind of imagery and what kind of feelings is that, set up in a child of that age? So, I feel bad for her. It was a funny situation to us because we're kind of looking at it from the outside. But I'm sure she was not laughing when 3 cop cars came pulling up and started pulling guns. She probably thought her life was in danger, just like many of us would. But that's what I'm talking about. Why are we not dealing with, like, real situations? I mean, it just it blows my mind that actually happened. So there's a little ranty Anthony for today. Just how it is. Why are you doing that? You shining the spotlight on me?
No. But, well, guys.
We do have some vapey topics to talk about.
Yeah, we got.
That was my little rant for today.
We got some vaping topics for today, and as always, especially with the vaping topics, if you have something to say, do not, I repeat, do not hesitate to call in. We have had callers in the past, and we haven't had any recently, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I get a troll call, like one of those prank callers that called the one time, I know all of the things now. I will hang up on it. But
Jangle said he takes his blaster everywhere. Good for you, man. Good for you.
But let's get into it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and... Now, I'm not going to provide any links today, just simply because a lot of this is well known. There will maybe a couple I'll provide the links, but this first one, for those of you that don't know, the appeals court came down on right to be smoke-free and that whole lawsuit that was appealing the, basically appealing the court decision that moved it to May, which is now September. And lo and behold, it was overturned. Over a technicality of all things. And, I mean, it's so... I'm getting tired of looking at my hair. Hold on. Okay. And it was over a technicality. Because you cannot appeal something that has already changed. If you file a lawsuit and then it's done legally, guess what? You have to restart the whole process over. And as many of you know, they filed this appeal back in September or October, right after the ruling. And bada bing, bada boom. January, they did a new comment period and everything and came through with the new official deadlines. So, because of that technicality, the appeal was struck down. Now, they can still go after the appeal, or after the new guidelines, but I don't see anything happening before September on that. I mean, what's your opinion, Anthony?
Well, first off, it's going to be difficult with what's going on for them to be able to do that. Because they've got to basically mount a completely new case. I understand continuing to fight because it's one of those things where wherever you can fight, you should be. That's why we do this. That's why I'm out doing advocacy and stuff all the time and going to rallies and things of that nature. You need to do what you can to fight this. It's unfortunate that because the date got moved on such something small that it's like, okay, well, why can't we just transfer all this stuff over? Well, you just can't. That's just the way it's set up. So, unfortunately, at this point, with this late in the game, I think it's a difficult thing to even, it's a very uphill battle to begin with.
And I agree.
So I don't really think it's going to happen.
I totally agree. It's wasted money is what it is.
Yeah.
And, I hate to say it, but somebody made a good point. The amount of money they've wasted in the courts, we could have put through a couple PMTAs.
That's a valid point. And this argument is not going to be won in the courts. This argument is going to be won through education. Because until people understand what the truth is, what the actual science is behind all of this, they're still never going to believe. And I think the reason why that is because we always kind of get jumbled in with the tobacco industry, with the combustibles. Yeah. So every time they hear nicotine, they think cancer. I think that may be the bottom line to all of this is when most people hear nicotine, they hear cancer. Exactly. Because that's a correlation there. And until we can break that up and people understand how severe the difference is between a combustible tobacco product and what pure nicotine really does to the body, that's the only way that this is ever going to kind of get over the hill.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It really is an education thing. But, the simple fact that was shot down, they need to just not even appeal it again. They need to either, one, join in with the other lawsuit that's going on, which there is another lawsuit currently that is even challenging the deeming rule. They need to either jump in with that lawsuit or just because I think that one was completely separate from this one. I'm not definite, but So don't take me on my word for it. But if anything, they need to jump on that other lawsuit.
If
and
we really
assist in it.
believe that the FDA is going to give us a true chance with the PMTAs, if they're going to take them seriously and actually pass some of them, I think any money and time right now needs to be spent working on that.
Yeah.
If there's a smaller company out there that's struggling to get theirs done, use that money that you have to help those people, because that is really the only steps that you're going to see here in the near future that are going to make any difference whatsoever.
And that's why we need
Help,
to, and let's be honest, just like we said last week, let's be blunt about it here. Let's put our big boy and girl panties on, and let's actually show some restraint and support the hardware companies that have pre-2016 from now on. I am not buying anything new. After what I have comes in, that's the last that I am buying except for my vape box. And from here on out, we need to support, if we can find any pre-2016 hardware, that hardware, or pressure our companies to actually prepare for the PMTAs. Because a lot of these companies are not preparing for the PMTAs.
Yeah, I don't know what miracle they expect to happen. I mean, I think that you got one pushing this to September 9th. So we're just about out of wishes, at this point. I really don't think that there's going to be a lot of things that actually change that. I think the big issue, Robert, especially with new products coming out, is that we have trained vapors to expect new products constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that that's where the companies kind of go, oh, they're expecting new things all the time. We have to keep providing new things all the time. And there's this weird, thing that if we said, okay, well, no more vape products, you have to deal with what's on the market already. A lot of vapors would be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so used to looking for that next new thing, looking for that new innovation, looking for, whatever it is, that I think that's going to be a difficult thing for, people to swallow. And I think, the unfortunate thing is it'll be September the 10th and there'll be millions of people that go, oh, was there something going on with vaping that I should have known about? Unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of times until it actually sits in your front yard and it's actually affecting you.
Until you got and see, that's what happened with, because I've been pushing advocacy since 2015. And I kept urging all the bigger YouTubers to push advocacy.
Yeah.
And other than the big four, or the big three, really, I don't even consider the other one because he had to get paid to do anything with advocacy. But other than the big three, there was nobody talking about advocacy at all. Very true. Other than Grim, Matt, and Ruby. Those were the only, and those are who I consider the big three.
Well, see, and I think Rip sets up there as one of the biggest YouTube reviewers. I mean, it's obvious from his,
and that's who has to get paid to talk about anything.
But he just I've seen him do maybe 2 videos about advocacy out of the thousands and thousands of videos that he's done. I don't understand. This is a point that I don't really understand. Why would Rip not do things about advocacy? Because his livelihood is being attacked directly. I mean, that's how a lot of us feel that have worked in vape shops and owned vape shops. You're attacking our livelihood directly. I'd even asked our owner. It's like, if a politician comes out against vaping, are you going to vote for them? That's as far as, I think we need to take this.
Well, see, here's the thing. And I'm going to hit Rip hard with this. He'll just move to the next big thing. His big thing saying vaping is the future.
Yes.
And the future is now. No. Not by what he talks. He may talk the talk, but he don't walk the walk. Because he has to be paid. He's already moving on to the next big thing. He's like, oh, I'll still do vaping videos. Yeah, if you're paid for it, you dumbass. Excuse my language.
And it's just a fan base thing. There are YouTube people out there that people watch just because they find them to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And Rip is nothing but entertaining. I mean, he definitely is. And it's sad to say that that's how I got into vape videos, was watching him, just strictly because you type in, videos about vaping and Rip comes up, and he's fun to watch. He, especially in the older years, he was fun to watch. He did, crazy things. He, had these weird head movements, and, he, got excited about things, and it was fun. But we're past that, unfortunately. We're at the point where vaping isn't really fun right now. It's, we're trying to save an industry. We're trying to save millions of lives.
Yeah.
It's time to get serious about that.
And
so
see,
and
it wasn't,
Matt does a great job.
Oh yeah, it wasn't until the dog started barking in Jay's backyard that any of the others picked up Advocacy.
Yeah.
Because I remember good and well, I love Jay to death. His big thing, because I kept saying, I respect you as a man, but I don't respect you as a YouTuber for vaping. Because you never mention Advocacy. But the second his livelihood was on the line, I mean, it was pretty much every week he was doing an Advocacy show, and I'm like, good.
Yeah, and it's tough because these YouTube guys, they know that Advocacy does not bring in views.
Yeah.
Okay? And let's be completely honest here. That's why a lot of people are on YouTube. They're looking for that notoriety. They're looking to become YouTube famous. And Advocacy videos do not get, believe me, I know. I spent, 2.5 years every day doing a daily broadcast, And yes, some of my videos got, 1,000 views. We have one right now that's kind of goofy. It's got like over 150,000. But the point is that most people do not tune in for Advocacy videos because they find them boring.
Yeah.
And you're right. If it's something that's not happening right in their backyard, they don't care. And a lot of times these things are happening in their backyard, and they either don't want to know or they just stick their head in the sand.
Yeah.
Like maybe this thing will go away. But when we saw states doing 40% tax, 50% tax, Vermont 92% tax. Well, when it hit their particular state, it was important. But if you lived in Indiana, you didn't care about a tax in Vermont, and people couldn't see the larger picture that we all could, that this was just an avalanche. It was just going to get worse as it rolled downhill, and here we are. The funny thing is, we went to NVE as a company to promote I Vape, I Vote in New York. I think I sold 3 shirts. Okay. This was, I don't know, maybe 3 months before, things really got bad. So it really kind of enlightened me on people just don't care. They won't care until they go to their local vape shop and they can't get their disposable and they can't get their pre-filled pod.
They won't care until the vape shop's closed.
Yeah. And then they'll be all up in arms about it. But at that point, it will be too late.
Yeah.
It will already be over. And it's sad because the major media outlets do not cover that side of this. We talk about, an impartial news and all this. There's just no such thing. They're set in their decision about what they believe. And until we can change that and get both sides of the story out there, people are just going to think that, everything is bad. It's all going downhill and they're going to go back to smoking.
I had said this before about the rally that they had, but had they done that rally back in 2016, 2017,
oh God,
it may have done some good.
Yeah, but nobody would have showed up.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah. Nobody gave a crap until it was in their backyard.
Yeah, and I'm still a little ticked off about the one we just had, I mean, I was happy about the people that did turn out.
Yeah.
But the percentage of that compared to how many vapors are out there was so
I
low.
didn't go because, like I said, I didn't think it was going to be
and no ill will about that. I just think it showed a lot about, because, just think about vape shops. You don't work for a vape shop. You're not employed. I know, but you're not currently employed. It's not your livelihood.
No.
But for me to think that all the vape shops across the United States, if you sent one person to DC, if the owner said, you know what, I'm going to pay your way, we're going to send you there, why not? Why not show your support with everybody else to make a statement? But instead, a lot of these in all honesty, a lot of vape shops have no idea what was going on until probably a few months ago.
And that's why I don't support a vape shop if when I walk in there, Like I said, I've said this before. I test vape shops. I will walk in acting like I know nothing.
Yeah.
And I might say, well, how long will I be able to get this? Do you know how many vape shops will actually say, well, as of right now, you can get it no matter what, as long as we carry it. But there's a possibility at one time we may not be able to carry this, and this is why.
Yeah, it's almost like a used car salesman mentality where you don't ever want to give anybody any bad news. Just keep them buying until you can't anymore.
Right. And I mean, even here in West Virginia, they tried to get a rally when we had our 7% sales tax thrown on.
Yeah.
And it was like they told me they were lucky to have 20 or 30 people committing. And they said, you know what, we're not even doing it. If we can't get 100 commits, we're not doing it.
And I would love to just sit back and wait until it all goes bad and be like, well, I can mix my own liquid and build my own coils. So, I just don't care. The problem is I do care because I know how many people are going to die because of this situation.
Exactly.
Maybe not today and maybe not tomorrow, but we already know that that's the progression about what's going on.
Exactly. And I do want to give some shout outs to people in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Jangles, it's good to see you, bud. Wendy, good to see you. Hey, Spike, good to see you as well. Like I said, phone lines are open. If you have anything you want to say about what we're saying, feel free to call in. He may not be able to hear you immediately, but he'll hear my response because I'll be able to hear you. So, and it may come through the main speakers. So, if I don't hear it, I'll know it's supposed to be coming through the main, which I just turned my main speakers up just in case someone would call. If it comes
Wendy's out picking berries in the snow, it looks like.
Yeah, it's snowing in some areas.
It was snowing in Akron yesterday. I live a couple hours from Akron, but that's actually kind of the area that I'm from. And I saw a video yesterday, one of my buddies posted, and it was actually snowing.
I cannot believe this. I got the wicking on this perfect first time.
Well,
that is rare.
That's because you're the man.
No.
The vaping minute.
I mean, this Destiny, I had never built it till this morning, and I got the wicking first time.
Yeah, it was your destiny.
It's easy to wick. It really is. I'm surprised how easy it is.
All right, so you got any vape topics you want to talk about?
I do have another one, which is kind of odd. This week in the Wall Street Journal, something we figured should have happened back about a year ago finally happened. Juul moved their headquarters out of California. Finally.
Wow, I'm surprised I did not see that. Yeah, that's something I thought should have happened a while ago.
They moved their main headquarters to Washington, D.C.
I didn't want to laugh directly in the mic. Oh, my God.
Their manufacturing is still in California, but their main corporate headquarters actually moved to Washington. I'm going to send the link for that. Give me a second and I'll pull it up. And luckily, there's been no warning letters this week, which is a big surprise.
True. Yeah. I'm wondering what building they moved into. Is it, just the Altera's headquarters in Washington, D.C.?
Probably, in all honesty.
Yeah, after San Francisco pulled the shit that they pulled, I thought it would have been relevant that they moved out of there like immediately. I would have taken all of that tax base and all of those jobs right out of there.
Yeah.
I would have done that immediately, but they decided to hold on for a while, which I was shocked about. And I remember it's probably been a year ago that they were looking at moving to like Kansas or something. I remember a story about that where they were like in talks with the state. Don't quote me on the Kansas thing, but I remember that they were looking into that and then they didn't end up moving to that. So that kind of makes me laugh that they moved to Washington, D.C. Is that so they can be closer, so their lobbyists can
I think that's what it is.
Donate a little easier? We don't have to travel all around the nation. Whenever the senators, and the House of Representatives people come by, we can hand out the bribes then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, that whole situation to me is just crazy. But I've got a couple topics to talk about. So
Jangles, I had heard they
on.
were considering moving to South Carolina.
That's probably what it was, South Carolina.
I have not heard officially, because according to the Wall Street Journal, their manufacturing is staying in California. Which they can see, that's where they get off really easy. Because their headquarters is out of Washington, they don't have to follow, for their sales, the California state laws. They just have to do that for California sales. So they can still sell the stuff outside of California.
Yeah, because there's something wicked going on in California
and
right now.
And they can evade more taxes out of California.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the taxes in California are very frustrating. That's the whole reason that Smiley closed, was the nicotine taxes in California.
If I was a vape company, there's no way I'd be based in California.
There's still plenty. There's still plenty based out.
To me, that seems ridiculous. That if the state constantly is doing everything that they can to end your business, fucking move. Go somewhere else that wants your business, that wants your tax base, that wants those jobs. That's not going to treat you like a redheaded stepchild. I hate it when governments do this. They'll hate on a business, but they'll still keep taking their money. I always end up talking about the marijuana business, but I mean, that's exactly one of those situations. It's like, they're constantly causing them problems, but they'll take all that money that they get in taxes. It's like, having your cake and eating it too, I guess. What are you doing?
Oh, nothing. Spike,
he's
been connected to the company to the channel for a long time.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was missing him some Smiley, and I had told him that I actually cloned Drama Queen.
But since we're talking about California, let's talk about something else that I saw in the news recently. California obviously is constantly, fighting what they consider to be an epidemic of vaping. So they are actually putting together starting with a $20 million ad campaign to tell the quote unquote truth about vaping. And they are pulling the money from their Prop 64 fund, which is actually the marijuana tax, to do this, which I find really ironic. It's like you're taking a product that is, obviously combustible, number one, but you're taking money from marijuana to fight vaping. And it's so weird because I know there are a lot of crossover in our industry between, CBD and, cannabis and things of that nature. So to see them use that, it just feels like a slap in the face. Like, we're going to take your tax dollars and then we're going to fight you for it as well. That's a rough situation. I probably throw this over to Grim and see what he thinks about this, or if he'll talk about it. But to me, that just seems utterly ridiculous. And they seemed very happy to be able to do that.
Now, was that Michigan law that you sent me? I didn't get a chance to read it.
No, the thing that I sent you earlier this week was that, I believe it's R.J. Reynolds, but it may be more than that. Big Tobacco is suing, I believe, the FDA, because by 2021, they are supposed to have graphic images on their packaging of things that smoking can do to you. So like bloody organs and premature babies and all this are actually supposed to be. I mean, this is already done. This is a past thing that it has to happen. Now, this actually does happen in Australia. I know for sure that they have, and these packages are gross looking. Like, they'll have like a diseased lung and an eye that's under surgery and all these things that can happen to you by smoking combustible products. I mean, they're fighting this tooth and nail. It's the first time I've seen Big Tobacco actually big in the news in a while. Like, they've just been standing back, letting vaping take all the bullets for everything that's going on. So I found that really interesting. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I mean, Big Tobacco's got that money that they can toss around and kind of get things that they want. It doesn't happen as much here in the States as it does in other countries, but it still happens a lot here in the States. So I'm curious about your opinion about this. Do you feel, I mean, you're big a label guy. Do you feel that this is governmental overreach to, make these tobacco companies put these images on there? And what would happen if there's a trickle down effect and they make us do it as well?
Well, that's something that was actually I believe, part of the Tobacco Control Act. So that is something that we're going to have to actually go in and get new legislation to fix it. Or have this court case. So
I love the notifications. Only happens when we're on the air, folks. When we're not on the air, we do not get these notifications. It freaking cracks me up. I think the other thing I sent you was Missouri's SB 1085. This is an interesting one, and I think this is where a lot of states are actually going. It's a real sneaky way to kind of ban a lot of vape products in a state. So what they do is they say, okay, you can sell any vape products in the state that you want, as long as they're either one of two things. Either you have a approved PMTA or you have a submitted PMTA.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they took it a step further and said not only can you not sell products in the state if you don't have one of those two things, but you can also not have anything shipped into the state unless it has one of those things. The other
thing is, a lot of states are going to move to that.
They make you register each individual product with the state, and the cost for that is $500 a piece.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be a lot. I mean, think of some of the juice companies that have lines that have 20 flavors, or, a mod company that has, multiple products. That's $500 per, maybe that's not a lot of money for them. That's a lot of money for me. If I had 10 flavors and I had to register each individual one with the state, you're talking $5,000. Just there you go. And I don't know if this is a way for them to get money, because there's no guarantee that even if it's registered with the state that your PMTA is going to be accepted and then approved in any time at all as well.
Well, I think we're going to have
this is a sneaky way that I think states are going to do this.
It looks like we are probably going to have somebody calling in for the imagery deal.
The imagery. Oh, okay, good.
So well, Spiked, he's talking about states doing it for the actual products. So we don't know if it's going to be per Nick. That's a good point, though. It could be per Nick.
It could.
So you're looking at $150 per e-liquid at least.
500.
No, 150. 500 per flavor.
Yeah, you mean 1,500?
Yeah, 1,500. That's what I said originally.
Not 150. Yeah.
Yeah, I meant 1,500.
No,
I'm
and
tired.
you're absolutely right, because I think that's the way the PMTA process works too. You have to do it for every NIC liquid or every NIC level. So yeah, and that's the thing that we talk a lot about, federal regulations and things that are coming down. In all honesty, federal regulations don't mean a damn thing, because states can always put in laws that are much harsher on these products than the federal government, and that is always upheld. You can't be less than the federal government, but you can be more than that. And I think that is a way that they can, basically eliminate this situation. It just infuriates me that they spend so much time working against vaping and allowing something that kills so many people just to continue to roll on. Roll on, with really no regard for anyone's health. And the worst thing is, it's always these health and human services people that stand up and say how bad things are.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this information from? I want people in those roles that are logical, that are intelligent, that have, the time and the staff to actually look into this stuff and know what the truth really is. But unfortunately, we just never get that.
But yeah, I actually, one time for Spiked, he probably don't remember this, he's on one of my, because I actually, somewhere in here, I'm not sure if it's up here or in my, I think it might be in my, in storage. I have his RDA somewhere.
Oh, that's really cool. I got to give props out to anybody that can design an RDA. It's not as easy as it looks.
Oh, great.
Playing music now?
No, it's not coming through Google Voice.
I like we're doing karaoke now. Yeah, by the way, if you guys want to see me sing, head over to Facebook, Karaoke Singers. Been doing a few of those. That lockdown
For
craziness.
some reason,
you know.
it's not coming over Hangouts. So let me do something else, and we will put in a different phone number. So now that I know it's not coming through Google Voice, I'll give you another number.
Well, that stinks. Yeah, we haven't had a call in a while. This will be something cool.
So just give me a second, guys. I got to pull up the other. Because for some reason it's just coming through my phone. Okay.
Hey, Joe. Nice to see you, buddy. Jerry. It's already too late for New York.
Okay. Let me change this. There you go. There's a new number. Call that number and it'll come straight into
Yeah, Wendy, I couldn't agree more.
Zoom.
I really could not agree more. You know, rebellions are built on hope, you know, and it's one of these situations where I have this hope that at one day, you know, the truth will come out. And that comes from a lifetime of living in the cannabis industry and constantly hoping that people would finally, you know, learn about these products and learn, you know, what they are. And I'm starting to see that across the US. And I think that's really the thing that gives me hope for the vaping industry, is that eventually at some point you won't be able to hide from the science. I know I've said this before, but Robert put up a meme one time where it had, you know, the boulder of science and all these people trying to hold it back. And it was just like, you know, it's just going to roll over. So at some point, you know, this information is going to get out there. It's not going to get that out there in time for September 9th, but you know, and that's really sad. And to see other countries that, you know, are doing things that are the right direction, I feel, you know, embarrassed that we're not moving in that direction too. I really am. And even with recent studies showing that nicotine may have a positive, you know, thing for corona, might actually help with that situation. It just makes me laugh because nicotine is more than cigarettes. And I think that's one of those big things that, you know, we have to jump over that hurdle first. Yeah. And let people know it's just not that.
Okay, that number should work, Jangles. So try that number and see if it dials into Zoom. But, hey, Spike, I'm not surprised. It can be a difficult. The RDTAs can be very difficult to wick. You gotta. Yeah, that's 646. It's a New York number.
I think, Wendy, the only way that we'll actually get true research on vaping is if it is a lab or a scientist or a school that isn't getting money directly from big pharma or from the tobacco companies.
And I'm going to put
it have to be independent.
Okay, Jangles, I'll send it to you on Facebook. He said it's hard to see, so I'm going to send it to him on Facebook.
We were talking about that this morning. The older you get, the harder it is to see. I need bifocals, but I just feel like I'm not old enough to have them. make my life so much easier. But I just feel like once you knock down that wall, it's just an easy way into all beige clothes and Velcro orthopedic shoes. And I'm not ready to go down that road yet.
Well, I already have orthopedic shoes.
Sure you do.
Yeah.
But you make them look good.
Yeah. When I wear shoes.
Well, you are in West Virginia. Hell, shoes are for rich people.
I don't know if he needs the meeting number, so I gave him the meeting number.
That's cool.
Or, Jangles, if you want, you can hop in on video. It's up to you.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed. We used to have Beauty and the Vape hop in her pajamas, so everybody's welcome. I mean, look at Robert. I don't think you can be underdressed for this show.
Well, funny. I mean,
they need to be farther down your nose.
I just don't understand what's going on here.
Grandpa will tell me a story.
Well, how about a nice fishtail? You know, one time I was on the side of the river, and I saw a fish 20 feet long.
If somebody just tunes in right now, they're going to be like, what the hell is this show?
It bit, and let me tell you something. I went skiing down that river, holding on to my fishing pole, you know, just going down that river. I went at least 20 yards. Being pulled with my fishing pole on the top of the river.
Now, I was watching another vape show this week, and I guess that there are some companies that have submitted PMTAs that have been accepted. Now, when I say that, I mean the FDA has accepted them to
they
look
haven't
at
been
them to see if they
posted
can
yet.
prove.
I won't believe it until they're actually posted.
Okay, all right. I would have to look into it a little deeper.
The only
to get
ones that
information,
I've seen accepted that have been posted have been pod systems. Pods and
waste of time.
Enclosed systems.
Like we talked about last week, anything that's really small or stealthy.
Yeah, while we're waiting on Jangles, he actually, Joe Jose asked what we were vaping on. Both of us actually have the Shogun. But on mine, I have the Destiny with a little bit of Red's apple strawberry juice e-liquid. And then what are you vaping?
Well, I have my Shogun also, but I use this thing a ton. As I was saying earlier, it's got like the steampunk look to it now because all the copper is worn off from the acid on my hands. And I am vaping the only sub-ohm tank, the Falcon. I mean, everybody else is just running for second. I mean, this is the premium.
The Falcon and the
tank.
Freemax Mesh are very close.
No, just no.
I've
vaped them both, and I'm telling you, no, it's not. My opinion is gold here. I'm a sub-ohm tank guy. You stick with your RDAs and your RTAs. Let me deal with the sub-ohm tanks.
Yeah, and he's still running mechs.
Well, and that's good, and you should be. And in all honesty, I'm moving that direction because I can see the writing on the wall. Try and find Falcon coils right now. It's insane. You know, I'm on a business-to-business feed on Facebook, and every day somebody is posting on there like, does anybody know where I can find like Nautilus 1.8 BBC coils, or does anyone know where I can find these? They're just not there. I mean, even one of the bigger companies, and I won't throw their name out because I don't want to embarrass them, but one of the major distributor companies that I used to buy from for the stores had like huge issues yesterday, even with their website. People couldn't even sign into it. So I don't know if they're having just issues with their site, or if they just don't have products to sell. So they're just like, there's no point in anybody even searching on here right now because we just don't have anything available.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see some retro stuff rear its head because those are the coils that are going to be out there. Those of you that own vape shops, you got old inventory of tanks and coils that maybe are. And when I say old, I'm like 6-8 months old. You probably could put those products back out, and people would probably buy them just strictly because they know that the situation that's going on. I mean, Falcon coils are ridiculous to try and find. I mean, I bought 10 when I had the opportunity to. I'm down to like my last 2 packs, and that's not really going to last me that long. I'm probably going to have to go to a dripper, and we talked about this a little bit.
Well, we got Jangles in here now. Are you
All
there,
right,
Jangles?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what? First off, welcome to the show. Now, what was your statement?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see that because my green screen.
And Anthony can actually hear you because you're in our Zoom room. So
Yeah, hey, Jangles.
Hey. How are you guys?
all doing good. So, what's your opinion on those graphic labels?
My thing is, if they put it on cigarette packs and they classify us as tobacco products, how can they, well, they can do what the hell they want, I guess, but how can they put those images on vaping products? When they haven't, their claim is, to begin with, there hasn't been enough research done on vaping. So how can they rightfully put those images on vaping products when they don't know that could possibly cause that type of issue?
Oh,
That's a good
totally
point.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you, like I've said in the past, if you haven't done enough research to say that it's safer, then you can't say it's worse either, or the same, or anything. You just have to say, we don't know. And I'm not saying they're going to do it on vapor products. I just feel like it's an easy step. Like, it would be a very easy way to go, well, it's a tobacco product, so you guys have to have it too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now, they might change the wording for vapor products and put the words could as in a possibility, or say these products are not tested, we do not know full what.
But if I know vapor companies, go ahead.
You could walk out the door and get hit in the head by a meteor too. I mean,
yeah. Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean,
that's like having to have a warning label in the bottom of your pool that says might cause drowning.
But
there are possibilities.
But guys, we are living in a world where McDonald's on their coffee has to put caution. This may be hot.
well, you can't blame the woman for suing them.
Yeah.
She got by with it. I mean, she came out a winner in that one.
But I mean, we are living in that type of world. So,
if I know vapor companies and we have to put those type of graphic labels on our packaging, they'll find a way to make them funny, or they'll make them a collector's item. Like, okay, I've got 2 diseased lungs, 1 eye surgery, 1 premature baby, and I'm really looking for the whatever the other thing is, the guy with emphysema. Like, you got an emphysema, I'll trade you for my. I could just see that happening in the vape world just because of the weird sense of humor that we have. But you're right. It would turn people off because they would think it's the same thing. And I don't have any idea. But I don't have any idea how they can do a lot of the things that they do to vaping without having the research to back it up. They're just doing whatever they want because it's like dictatorship. It's like, my rules are law, and so I'm just going to throw this in there. And what it is. Believe me.
I mean, I understand that vaping is new and it scares people, in a sense. But when there's been plenty of research elsewhere that proves otherwise, I mean, generally they jump on it. Anything that comes out of UK health-related, our, quote, leaders are jumping on it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to vaping, they don't want to recognize it.
Yeah, and I think the other side of the coin that we have to think about is there are companies out there like Big Tobacco and Big Pharma that don't want this. And the reason that they don't want it is because it's competition. So if you can use your money and your influence to make the American public fearful about a product that is a competition to you and get rid of it, why wouldn't you? From a business standpoint, I can understand what they're doing, but from a health standpoint, it's disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got plenty of money to throw around too.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, like companies like Juul, where they support and send money to both sides. like significant money to Democrats and Republicans, or people that are running for office, whether they're Democrat or Republican, they'll give money to everybody. So that way that they're in good graces with everybody. And that kind of crap scares me. It's like, if you want to give money to a politician, it's because you support their ideals and their morals and what they stand for and what you hope for them to do in office. Jewel just gives money to everybody. They don't freaking care who it is. I mean,
They
there was
just want
a
influence.
yeah, because I mean that goes back to that Democratic convention in California, where Jewel was a sponsor.
As much
Here's
as
a state that hates vaping.
Can you blame them?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said, as much as I despise Jewel, can you blame them, really? I mean,
No.
Not from a business standpoint, no.
If you can pad pockets on both sides and not have to have a care in the world, I mean, from a business standpoint, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is legal. And that's why I have so many problems with things being legal or illegal, and people just saying, well, it's illegal or that's legal and it's okay. Just because something is legal doesn't make it okay, and just because something is illegal doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah.
We have to look past some of those things sometimes and go, if they're doing this, that is just wrong. What they're doing is wrong. From a moral standpoint, if nothing else, to support all of this just so you have influence. But from a business standpoint, it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a moral and just common sense standpoint, yeah, it's totally wrong.
So, Jangles, I have just a quick question for you. So,
Good.
September 9th comes, the PMTA thing is done, your local vape shop has to close. What are you going to do?
I have friends in higher places, I would say.
No, and I think that's probably what a lot of people are going to do.
But if I had to quit, I could. What do I want to? No. I mean, I have friends who are e-liquid manufacturers and have tons and tons of products. As far as devices, batteries, whatever, I think I'm good for a while on that.
Yeah, but that kind of proves my point about things being legal or illegal and what people will actually do. I think all we're doing right now.
I'll keep on vaping. I mean,
yeah, I think all we're doing right now is, since marijuana is becoming legal in states, is we're just giving new jobs to black market weed dealers. It's like, okay, I can't deal weed anymore, but I can deal vape products now. So at least we're keeping them employed. That's crazy.
That's true, and that's very dangerous at the same time.
Yeah. No,
it's
extremely dangerous.
The THC cards, they were extremely dangerous, just so somebody can make a quick buck, and that's scary, especially for new vapors.
Oh, true. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's the whole reason. I advocate, not for me, because I could quit. It's done what it needs to do for me. This future generation deserve to have this. They should have the right to choose whether they want to vape or smoke or nothing at all.
Oh, totally agree.
You bring up a good point too about the THC cartridges. Like, it's funny, after those THC cartridges stopped getting distributed out, that all the vaping deaths went away.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That doesn't get promoted ever. No. Nobody was dying before that, and no one's dying after that from vaping, but they still threw us under the bus under that same situation. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that propagation of fear that controls the nation.
Oh, and it's always going to.
So many people in this world, in this country, not just the world, just this country alone, that follow and do whatever they're told without doing any type of research on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no smart person by any means, but it don't take but a second to Google something.
No, you're absolutely right.
And
that's the argument I have with these kids. Opinion. That's the argument I have with these kids that are saying, well, I didn't know Juul had nicotine in it. Come on. You have a phone. Like that's it's all over the packaging. Like that is the worst, possible argument. But I can't tell you how many times that I've heard that. Like, my son didn't even know it had nicotine, and now he's addicted, and it's this crazy thing, and blah blah blah. And just like, come on, these kids are smarter than that. Obviously, they've been hiding it from you. Why would you hide something if you didn't know that it had something in it you weren't supposed to have.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people, out there, they read that headline.
You're not supposed to have it. You're not supposed to for a reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it has nicotine or not. You're not supposed to have it. You're not supposed to have it for a reason.
Yeah, and it's. I feel like as a society, we've gone away from things that adults are allowed to have to is it safe for kids? Well, it's not safe for kids. That's why we made it for adults only. But for some reason, it just all gets put in convoluted and saying, well, if it's not safe for kids, then adults can't have it either. And I hate that type of philosophy. I don't know. I grew up in a time when the next door neighbor could come over and tell my parents something about me, and they'd believe them over me all the time. And I think we've gone completely sideways from that. And it doesn't matter what a kid says, everybody believes them. And I just think it's craziness.
Oh, yeah.
Jangles knows how to get me wound up. He's saying hitting those right buttons for me. It's just like, Argh!
Well, Jangles,
maybe brother, he might not want me calling in.
No, I love it. To be honest with you, I love the debate. Robert knows this. Like, I'll bring up points I don't even believe in just so we can argue about it.
Oh,
so
I'll do it too.
I like that. So, but I think that's necessary because until you hear both sides of a story, you can't make a logical decision, and I want that. I actually like the antis because I get to refute the things that they say because they don't know what they're talking about. But the antis are speaking as like the general population. This is what most people think. I mean, I've seen statistics that 85% of people think that vaping is more dangerous than smoking. Why do people have that mindset when it's something that's completely not true?
Yeah.
It's because they have been influenced by the wrong things. They've been influenced by titles of articles instead of reading the article. That used to get on my nerves all the time. You'd see a title and read the article and go, that has nothing to do with the title.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point exactly. I argue that all the time. People will read headlines and never read the article.
Oh, that's why. That's the beauty of, let's be honest, that's the beauty of a press release. Because normally what happens is when something comes out, they will put the press release exactly what they want the title, and our Main Street media is so lazy. Literally, they will use the exact same title, and if there's a subtitle, they'll use the exact same subtitle, and then just go through real quick, glance over it, and then write the article.
Yeah, it's just regurgitate it.
Yeah.
People that want to quote the Bible, they'll take a little piece of a scripture and twist the whole few words to fit their agenda and miss the whole point of the meaning behind the words.
Yeah.
And that drives me bananas.
Yeah. A lot of them are called pastors.
I'll say this to what you just said. The part that drives me the bats is when people try to take a lot of things literal, the way it's written, because people don't know. In Greek and Hebrew, there was no... This is a little education for those that don't know this. In Greek
Welcome to Sunday school, folks.
In Greek and Hebrew, there was no punctuation. And you change one comma or one period, it changes the whole meaning of a sentence.
Yep.
Kind of like the way I text.
But, Jangles, it's been good having you on. We're going to have you hop in someday and just hop in with us. But thanks a lot
I'll gladly do it.
Thanks a lot for joining us, bud.
Yeah, it was great having you, man.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But yeah, that's what I love. You know what, guys? I'm going to just, because I use the same meeting room, we're just going to keep that phone number down. That way Anthony and I can both respond at the same time. So we're just going to use that number from now on.
Yeah, that was easy. Yeah. The old style was a little clunky.
Yeah.
Let's say it that way. Clunky.
And if I have to go in there and do it every time, I will.
Yeah, no, that was good. I like the way. I could actually hear and be able to respond. So that was awesome. We can do that again for sure. Yeah. No, when we like that kind of stuff, you know, we want to hear your side of this. That's why we have the chat. We want to hear, you know, what you feel about things. I love Wendy, man. She really brings it. You know, I don't always agree with everything Wendy says, but I like her point of view about a lot of things.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah.
And Jangles. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to give everybody another 10 minutes. If anybody wants to call in, you're more than welcome. Again, the number's down in the bottom. But let's give a little update on what's going on this week. With the channel this week, hopefully today or Monday or Tuesday, I get my shipment in from Sea Vapor. Because it is in America. I mean, it's in America, so it's actually...
Yeah, but the U.S. Postal Service is going out of business, so, you know, you don't know if you're going to get your stuff or not. There was just another one of those articles. It seems like we go through this like every few years where the Postal Service says, you know, things are so bad, we're just going to have to shut it down, charge more for stamps. Like, you know, Americans don't care. Charge $1 a piece for the things. If that's what keeps you in business, just do that. Like, I was at the post office the other day, and I ended up leaving because there was like 25 people in there. Like, I don't want your germs. I'm just going to, you know, do this at a later time. So I don't know what the issue is with that. I like that the Postal Service is not part of the government when they want to be and part of the government when they need help. It just makes me laugh that that's the situation that's going on there. So support your local post office and mail a letter. Keep them in business.
But yeah, so I have coming in my Dead Rabbit RTA, my Profile Unity RTA. I have my Topside Dual and the Dead Rabbit V2.
It's a nice little package. You're going to love that Topside
Well, Joe
Dual.
Jose, the FDA regulates vaping now. So, yeah, I wasn't sure, Jangles. That's why I put the meeting number in, too.
Yeah, and if you guys would like to be on a show as a special guest, by all means, just request. I mean, I'd be more than happy to have, you know, somebody else to look at besides just him. So that would be great.
You don't want to look at my handsome face all the time?
Your hair makes me jealous.
Why? Because I actually have hair?
That's correct. Yeah. I'm doing the best I can to grow more on my face, but, you know, it's just not the same thing.
But yeah,
I feel like I look like Rob Reiner. If you don't know who that is, I'm sorry, but that's just every time I look in the mirror, that's what I see.
Oh my goodness. But hopefully after I get those, I'll do an unboxing from Sea Vapor as a basically a review of their shipping, which already they're getting a negative because I'm way over the 14 days getting it here. And
well, yeah, and speaking about that, UPS will not send vape products anymore. If knowingly that there's vape products, they will not send that. So when you see a big shipping company like that drop out and say that we're not going to do that, that makes the USPS even more important. And I know FedEx still does it, but if FedEx drops out, that's going to leave a pretty nasty hole in, you know, the availability to ship these products legally.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that's why
DHL is going to have to step their game up.
Yeah. I mean, DHL isn't enough places. That's the bad part. Like, I don't even think here in Charleston we have DHL service.
And, you know, Amazon's shipping company is kind of like they've shelved it for the time being. Like, they're not actually using it, so.
Okay.
Is he coming back in?
I think Jangles is coming back in, yeah.
Maybe he just hit it by accident. Who knows? It's funny.
Nope, there he is.
There he is. All right, we're like beard brothers,
earlier,
man.
So
he's muted.
we can't hear you, Jangles. You're muted. Let me see if I can
You gotta.
mute you.
He's muted on his end. It looks like. There you go.
I fixed it.
Yep, that works.
Your
What's up, bud?
audio is a little low.
I'm using my phone, so you'll.
Ah, okay.
I was gonna say I hear him pretty good.
He's probably got his volume down. Can't hear.
He's just getting old. That's all it is.
Probably what it is.
That's a serious back, man. What is it you're vaping on there?
It's not pink. It's red. I get the all the time. It's overpowered stack.
Whatever you say, pal.
Yeah. It's an overpowered 21700.
Oh,
wow. Say, that looks better than it looks bigger than an 18650. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a damn lightsaber.
No doubt. At least you're not holding a big black stick. That's good.
And Noisy Cricket B2.
Oh wow.
And what's that? It's an Osmosis or RTA Balluna. That's what it is.
What kind of liquid do you like?
I usually use Masturbator, and they're made here. It's made here in South Carolina. They've got well over 100 flavors, and it's all really clean liquid. It's not. It doesn't use a lot of sweetener, which I like, because I can't stand a juice that'll kill coils. Because I've got a messed up hand, missing fingers, and that's my dominant hand. So building is not an easy task for me.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Not a lot of people out there still using the Noisy Cricket. So it's glad to see somebody that actually knows what they're doing is able to use that thing.
Yeah, the V1 was kind of dangerous.
Yeah, we wouldn't even sell them to people in stores if they couldn't answer like some serious questions about building. It's like, no.
Yeah, well, the button upgrade made it a little better, but the version 1 was, yeah. I don't even think I would play one of those.
That thing is scary, to say the least, for sure.
I've got a couple other things I'm not using right now, but that's what I'm using at the moment.
I have so many I'm not using. You mean this version of the Noisy Cricket?
Is that the one? Yep, that's the one.
You might as well just put a wick in that thing and light it. Like, that's that, no. No.
And this was actually, the Noisy Cricket, I think, is one of the first that started putting the plastic.
Yeah, mine won't come out every time I take the batteries out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing needed a Kevlar sleeve is probably the only thing that would help that.
Now the version 3, the newer one.
We got a call coming in. That's probably Wendy, because that's a PA number.
All right.
So, hello, Wendy. You are live on the air.
Hey, I muted the YouTube. Was that the right thing to do?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Robert, Jangles, Anthony.
Everybody
out there in YouTube land.
So what's your opinion on everything we've been talking about today?
Yeah, because you're really short on opinions.
Oh, gosh, I've got them by the boatload. No Mother Hubbard over here as far as my cover goes in opinions. But seriously, no, I'm in full agreement with Anthony and with Jangles on this one. I firmly believe that if e-liquid remains in the tobacco control realm, then provided e-liquids pass PMTA, they will use that marketing tactic on the labeling, simply because nicotine is in there. And until the powers that be, so to speak, in the United States come out and say that the harm is not caused by nicotine, it's by everything else, because of its plant material, it's smoke. Okay, we all know you don't need to be inhaling burning plant material directly. Okay, so that's what they'll do. We'll have to have those nasty images on our e-liquid. Is that
please cuss, because we know that's what drives it home. I don't hear cussing. I think something's wrong. So no, keep it up.
Well, I try to refrain from it, but it's a propaganda tool. Okay, imaging has always been. It's okay. Look at it this way: you can have a picture on the front page of the newspaper. Puppy poppies, rainbows, a unicorn, you know, and a little girl with her red balloon. But the headline reads something along the lines of, you know, balloon banded skewers, puppies with the unicorn's horn. What's the first thing what are they going to remember? They're going to remember the picture. They're not going to remember the words.
That goes back to the headline.
And that's how it's how they instill, and when I say they, media, public relations, it's a way to instill cognitive dissonance, one, and B, but in regards to the tobacco, I'm going on a conspiracy tangent, sorry.
No, that's good.
In regard to the cigarettes and everything, that's what it's the association. It's visual association. The first thing you see isn't going to be the Marlboro Man. It's going to be bloodied lungs.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fear-mongering.
You're absolutely right. And the only way that we get around that is being approved as a secession tool. Because you know that Nicorette is not going to have that on their packaging. Okay, I think that's the only way that we could get around getting those images is that they finally say that vaping is a secession tool, which I don't expect to happen, but I think that's the only way we could keep away from that type of image.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think that, because I don't know your age, you've got some gray in your beard too, but do you think
47.
we'll ever see that in our lifetime?
I'm sorry?
I said, do you think we'll ever see that in our lifetime? Because I don't.
The secession tool thing? You know, it's funny. My mindset has changed a lot about that because of marijuana, unfortunately. I never thought in my lifetime I would see the country sway as much as it has towards that in the right direction. I mean, I've seen polls that say more than 50% of the country and much higher than that think that, you know, cannabis should be, you know, legalized. So to see that progression in my lifetime has been a huge change. So at this point, I think that anything is possible. Is it probable? I just don't know, because the thing is, other countries were on the same bandwagon as the U.S. when it came to marijuana. But now so many countries are against what we're doing here that I don't know if that might finally, you know, seep over. And I also don't know if it's a political thing, where once some of the, you know, political, you know, elections and things are done with, that they don't take a second look at this, because it's, you know, that fear and those tactics. The media cannot put out stories that aren't sensational and that don't provide fear, because no one would watch.
Yeah.
If every news story that came out was, you know, happy, good time, la la, no one would watch, because, you know, you can only take so much of that stuff. People want that scare. They want that fear. It's like going to a horror movie every time you watch the news, because that's what people want to see. And so when a news person sees an article that says that as the title, they just run with it, because they know they can scare enough people to watch their show. It's that clickbait mentality. And unfortunately, we're the butt of that joke more often than not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can I raise my hand here and get a word?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Back to the Nicorette and smoking cessation.
Okay.
This is going to be two parts here, because this is going to tie in with your MJ issue as well. I do think it will be possible to see vaping go into a smoking cessation within our lifetime, if not relatively within the next election cycle, but only a few things, because it will be pushed through pharma. If you go and you research patents, there's patents out there that are pod-based for smoking cessation, which is nicotine replacement.
That's a valid point.
As this is like, I said this several years ago, and I think we debated about this maybe last year or the year before over here on NVR, at least in the chat. The goal to push it behind the counter like they did with Sudafed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do think that will happen. Will there be flavors involved? Maybe, maybe not. Just like with cough medicine, you know. Oh, well, you can have. What flavor do you want? Bubblegum cherry. It's the same flavorings they were using in the the cough medicine or penicillin, whatever liquid medications you were giving to kids, the pharmacist used to always ask you, do you want bubble gum or cherry, or I've got this, and they added it to it, and they shook it up, handed it to Mom, and said, there you go.
To make it
okay,
palatable.
Okay, so I do think that there will be a pharma option, and that's simply based on me going through FOIA, Library of Congress, and seeing what's out there. As far as the MJ issue, we were going to see that within our lifetime, and the reason I stand by that, like Anthony, I've been an MJ advocate for well over 30 years, and in that time period, people that were wanting to see the cannabis issue erased from the Hemp Act and all that type of taxation and going, they started entering Congress. They started entering positions of power, so to speak, to not just lobby, but to actually be in the position to vote. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I think the age of information that we're in is what has helped cannabis the most. Because back in the day, getting information was tough about cannabis because, there wasn't the internet. You couldn't just, type in something and get, truthful scientific information about it. People just lived off of what they got from newspapers or the library or whatever. And now that we're in an age of information, all the scientific stuff is actually coming out about it, and it's kind of impossible to fight. And once people learn that one of the, many times that marijuana has been made illegal, one of the main ones during the Richard Nixon era was that they needed a way to be able to arrest protesters. And most of the hippies that were protesters also smoked marijuana. So it was a way for them to be able to put those people in jail and calm some of those, rebellions, if you will, towards like the Vietnam War and things.
But see that'll go back to Tavistock and everything else, though. But see, that's the thing; it is cyclical, and not just the media, but again, I don't want to jump on conspiracy tangents. They're not even conspiracies at this point because of FOIA. The information has been released. You have to always have a boogeyman. That's the only way you can control your population. This goes back to ancient times even. And I know this is a tangent, but because of the way our system is set up here in the United States, it was inevitable that the cannabis issue was going to be put back out there because people that were on the underground, people that were advocating and seeing the injustice of a plant, being demonized, got into office so they could further get it taken away. Medical benefits are out. There's medical benefits to almost every single thing out there, whether it's poisonous or not poisonous. That's where medicine came from, was from the plant world. From either a fungus or what have you. There's always going to be a boogeyman. They can't continue to push the cannabis boogeyman because of the fact that people have come of age to get into positions, electable positions, to fight for reversing that. So the numbers grew of the people that knew the truth, I guess you could say. I think we're also going to see that in vaping later on, but until that happens, we are going to see a pharma option. And again, I base that opinion on what I've gathered through the Library of Congress and through search for patents that contain what would resemble, in my eyes, a vape, in simple terms. And I'll take that a step further, that the apparatus that we're using for vaping isn't going to go away for the simple fact that medicine via MMJ is delivered via vape.
Yeah.
That is the preferred method of that's the preferred delivery method is vaping, not burning flower.
But
Yeah,
I will say this. The only currently, I have to inject this just to cover us legally. We're only mainly talking medical. We have to remember we have to keep to mainly medical, as well as I do not endorse as high as we vape our e-liquid to vape any medicinal or CBD because of the oils that are naturally in it. You should never vape anything like CBD or medical. None of that should ever be vaped over 15 to 20 watts. 20 is even pushing it. Because the oils there is actual natural oils in it.
Well, you can't vape
vaping.
it very high or it burns it off.
Right.
So it's not,
and that's what it's doing.
effectiveness.
It's burning the oils. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So,
But-
I want to make sure to say that clear because,
Absolutely.
I mean, like, right now I'm vaping at 120 watts.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No.
It would be back to, let's be honest, 2015 technology because
Right.
we really didn't get into the liquid guzzling tanks
Sub-ohm tanks mainly.
until, well, even sub-ohm tanks. Most of your original sub-ohms, like the Atlantis or
Kangaroo.
the TFV4,
Well, even the kangaroo.
and Kangers,
even
they
the
were 50
Kanger
or
type.
below.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt like it
I
really
mean,
took off
there-
on the TFE4.
Well, the bores were too. The bore in the coil was too skinny
Yeah.
for it to be a major juice guzzler.
Yeah.
So as the coils got bigger, the ohms reduced, the resistance went down, and in order to get the flavor and to you have to burn it higher for one, and so yeah. Well, that's a whole schematic to go in how all that works and the process because of the surface area. There's more surface area, therefore you're going to go through more e-liquid.
Yeah.
Like the multiple,
And that's the mechanics of it. That's the physics of it. But I just got informed that my son, his wife, and children are breaking quarantine, and they are coming up to visit me. So I am going to do a quick wipe down of the house because I'm going to get to see my grandbaby after 3 months.
Awesome. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
love you guys.
Yeah.
I'll hang out and listen in the background, but thanks for letting me get on my soapbox for a minute. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, Wendy. It's always good to have you guys call in.
Absolutely.
This has
Okay,
always
yeah.
been very to the point. We always want people calling in if they have a feeling. So, hey, we're glad to have you anytime.
It's going to save her fingers, too. She wants to type so much.
All right, gentlemen. I will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want to jump on something that Wendy talked about, though. She's absolutely right about the big pharma thing. And if big pharma is putting out vapor products, you will see this huge, quick change in public perception. And the reason for that is because they'll be able to make money on these products, and that will change everything.
Now,
And also, if it becomes a secession tool, it's covered under your insurance.
yeah. And
So that's a big way for pharma to make money.
And see, here's the thing. I'm going to be throwing something out there that
Is unpopular?
That can be unpopular, but
This would be something new.
it may be. I had mentioned this way back.
Okay.
What if, going on the big pharma situation, they got to the point, because as of right now, after a court ruling, the only reason we are considered tobacco products is because back during the Enjoy case, right after the right before the Tobacco Control Act, or right in that period was the Enjoy case. And it deemed that vaping was not a drug, because that's how the FDA tried to regulate us originally, was as a drug.
Right.
Enjoy fought that to get it. They are the reason we have the FDA final rule. declaring us a tobacco product.
Yeah.
If they were to reverse that, go back to court, get it reversed to be a drug, and the bad part of that is we might have to have pharmacists in our vape shops. That would raise the cost of our e-liquids, for one. Yes, it would be covered under your insurance, but how much are they going to cover? That would be the key.
Some of them cover a lot.
But how many of them would they actually, how much liquid would they cover a month?
Right.
You know, they may only say...
Well, it could be like any other prescriptions. You know, it depends on how much you need.
Yeah, but the problem is they might say, well, we will cover this base amount. The rest you got to cover.
But for a lot of people, I mean, that's still saving them some significant money.
Not really. Not if the... This is where... Not if the prices skyrocket. If you're having to pay a pharmacist to hand this stuff out, to be in charge of the vape shop, you're going to have vape shops drastically reduce the number in an area. It might move to some of your bigger pharmacies too, but it's also going to push out a lot of the smaller companies, even though they're already going to be
Walgreens and vape.
Yeah.
Sign. Okay, I gotcha.
You know, in Australia, I've got a lot of friends over there. You know, buying and selling any liquid with nicotine is illegal.
Yeah.
Because
all nicotine is illegal in Australia.
You know, they can only get nicotine legally with a prescription from a doctor, and it was only for 3 months at a time. But none of the doctors would write it. I mean, it was. I think they just recently got nicotine somewhat legalized for e-liquid. I don't know how well that's going. I hadn't asked, but yeah, it's a pretty big deal over there. So I wonder if we would end up in the same boat.
Well, I'd like to see some doctors that were pro-vaping actually get some screen time, because there are a lot of them out there. There are a lot of them out there that, you know, I've seen in other videos that aren't mainstream. They're like, well, is vaping, you know, healthier than smoking? Well, just look at the ingredients.
Dr.
You know, I've heard them say that.
And Dr. Drew.
Okay, yeah.
Right there are our two big ones.
Yeah.
Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew. Both of them have came out pro-vaping.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of Dr. Oz. He'll promote anything. That's kind of a
but especially
double-edged
Dr. Drew.
sword there. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Dr. Drew for sure. Yeah, and a lot of people believe him because they know he's going to tell you the straight dope, regardless of how it affects you. You know, either, you know, whether you like what he's saying or don't like what he's saying, you can usually take what he's saying to the bank. Like, he's telling you the truth. He doesn't care. And I've been listening to Dr. Drew since, you know, Love Lines back in the day.
Dr. Oz, you pay him enough money, he'll say anything.
Yeah, and everything's a miracle. Dr. Oz show is full of miracles. Everything's a miracle on there. It's like I've seen him go before. You know, I don't know if it was Congress or the House, but he got kind of called on the carpet about some things. So it's kind of like Dr. Phil. You know, he's not really a doctor. You know, I just play when I can.
Well, guys, I hate to do this. It is 10:30 already.
Yeah.
We've been on an hour and a half. I need to go downstairs.
You can't smoke if your lifestyle won't allow it.
And check my porch, see if I maybe got the package today. And then I got to go to bed. Because I got to, even though I injured myself at work, I've got to be at work tonight at 9 o'clock. So.
That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. I told him flat out I'm not calling off. Because, one, I don't have any sick time. Two, tonight's my last night for 3 nights. So,
Where do you work again?
I work at the Prestera Center, which is group homes for mentally and mostly mentally challenged individuals. So
yeah, Robert does the Lord's work. Most people, I don't know if everybody actually knows that or not, but that's something I would never have the patience for. So I'm very grateful for people like you that are able to do those kinds of things.
And that's why I don't get a lot of reviews done. Like Wednesday, I was dead tired, so I fell asleep when normally I would sit down and record 4 or 5 reviews. I might record if Sarah don't come up this weekend, I might record more this weekend. But we are going to head out of here, guys, and we will see you guys on the next show. Jangles, if you want to come on, anytime you want to come on, just let me know.
All right.
I mean, today was an accident when I posted it, but I'm glad I did. So we will see you guys later. Hey, if you like what you've seen here, there's much more to come. Just click one of the 2 boxes up here in the corner. And you know what? If you've liked it, make sure to subscribe. Just click the little button right there. Talk to you later, guys.